Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
So welcome everyone. Would you like to introduce our special guest?
So this is Jaga Mohini Devi.
Harimo.
Some of you that follow Bhakti Vision will recognise her. She's been in a few Bhakti Visions. But she's former ashram resident at ISKCON-London. A lady of all trades. I say jack of all trades, but more like a Jackie of all trades.
Master of none.
No.
She's a Tulsi Pujari. There's some courses she's done on the London College of Vedic Studies and
Ladies ashram leader.
Yeah. Now she's living in America in New Vrindavan.
Yeah.
So she's
Those
just back
are in
visiting.
New Vrindavan, if you're watching.
Very cool. Shout out, yeah.
So we're going to read today. She's also an avid Bhagavatam reader. In fact, she's a Bhagavatam addict, so we're looking forward to the opportunity to read with her. So where are we at?
So it's Canto 3, Chapter 22, Text 13. Chapters The Marriage of Kadma Muni and Devahuti.
Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
Okay, I'll start. It's text 13.
Yeah.
One who rejects an offering that comes of his own accord, but later begs a boon from a miser, thus loses his widespread reputation, and his pride is humbled by the neglectful behavior of others. Purport. The general procedure of Vedic marriage is that a father offers his daughter to a suitable boy. That is a very respectable marriage. We're just talking about marriages. A boy should not go to the girl's father and ask for the hand of his daughter in marriage. Oh, that's interesting, because that's what tradition is, isn't it? That is considered to be humbling one's respectable position. Swayambhuva Manu wanted to convince Kadma Muni, since he knew that the sage wanted to marry a suitable girl, I'm offering just such a suitable wife. Do not reject the offer, or else, because you are in need of a wife, you will have to ask for such a wife from someone else, who may not behave with you so well. In that case, your position will be humbled. Interesting.
I would have thought it'd be more more humbling for the father to go and ask rather than the boy to come and petition from the father. Interesting.
It's an interesting thought that, that also that from the translation, it's actually coming to us because we're not used to that mindset of things coming to us. That's what, as in Sri Upanishad says, that the quote that we have coming to us, that we go out to try and get it, and this is why we're finding difficulties in life, because it's reverse to what we're used to, so we're having to sort of set our mind a little bit different by what the scriptures say.
That's a nice point. Very nice point. I guess the danger though is that you're like, whoever comes to you first, whichever father comes to you first and offers his daughter, you kind of gotta go. You gotta go with it, right?
Yeah, I was just thinking about Srila Prabhupada, because that's what happened to him, right? He had his future wife come, but he was thinking that he wasn't really. I mean, he says in the Srila Rita that in the Rita of his that he wanted someone, he would like someone else, but his father said, "No, you have her." So he accepted, and
I think he wanted the second wife, didn't he?
yeah.
His father said, no, just be happy with what you got. You'll find out later that it's better you stick with one.
So for me, the scriptures are amazing because it helps us understand who we are and how to behave, and not really have to, when it's really difficult, really have to hanker for something. It will come on its own accord anyway.
Nice. Another feature of this incident is that Swayambhuva Manu was the emperor but he went to offer his qualified daughter to a poor Brahmin. Kardama Muni had no worldly possessions. He was a hermit living in the forest, but he was advanced in culture. Therefore, in offering one's daughter to a person, the culture and quality are counted as prominent, not wealth or any other material consideration. That's very powerful also.
Yeah.
It's more about the character of a person rather than... Now it's all backwards and upside down.
Yeah.
It's all about how much money. I can't marry anyone if they don't have money, and or marry someone who's got money. So we, I don't have to worry.
Yeah.
I mean, in that wealth comes looks. People are looking for the perfect looks in someone, and and not the actual character.
One of the opulences.
Yeah. It reminds me of I had a cousin from brought up here, but they had arranged marriage in India, and the parents were only looking for wealthy families, and it was quite sad because he was like myself, brought up here, and having arranged marriage, he agreed to it, but he wanted to get to know the person, but it was negated. It was like, no, what do you mean, the person and the character and that, and they matched it according to
the family, and
sadly it didn't work out. Actually, after quite some time and 2 kids, it didn't work out, sadly.
Actually, we're having conversations about that, about certainly for you would know Indian, the culture there is that they would choose through horoscope, through to check to see if that they're compatible, right? Yeah, and that's not so prominent now, is it? Where it was there, and we usually find that the matches are pretty much good. Otherwise, you're choosing for yourself, and you don't without any proper knowledge. So the scriptures are amazing because the knowledge is there, and if we just follow, even though it feels a bit funny at first, but actually when we start to follow, we think, oh, this is really amazing. Actually, the divine out there is actually
It has a lot to do also with the mentality of the persons, from the sense that, previously they would just accept, right? Okay, so this is the person I'm going to marry, and you stay married forever, and then you just do it. Whereas nowadays it's like, oh, if I don't like it, I can change, I can get divorced, I can do this, I can do that. So it's a completely different consciousness, whereas it used to be the institution of marriage, like if you go back probably 2 or 3 generations, it was like you get married, you stay together, But now it's very much like, it's not exactly like that,
It's because we're looking for, actually from my experience as well, looking for happiness within someone. Actually, and then actually the happiness is within us. So, so we're just, if I just have this person, or that's no good, and then I'll just, that one will make me happy, or this will make me happy. And actually it doesn't, because we're looking out rather than looking within us, what we have inside of us.
Very nice.
And you have to make it work as well. I mean, it's not like, that person's going to make me happy and going to do everything. No, we have to work at something. We have to take some responsibility.
Definitely.
In anything we do, right?
Yeah.
You have to work at it. It's not like it's going to be handed on a plate.
That's what everyone wants. So.
It's like
platter service,
golden
please.
Platter, here you go.
Platter service, please.
That's the golden shoe. And then I'll be happy forever. No. Okay.
Text 14, would you like to read? Jaga Mohini.
Swayambhava Manu continued. Oh, wise man, I heard that you were prepared to marry. Please accept her hand, which is being offered to you by me, since you have not taken a vow of perpetual celibacy. Purport. The principle of brahmacharya is celibacy. There are 2 kinds of brahmacharis. One is called Nashtika brahmachari, which means one who takes a vow of celibacy for his whole life, whereas the other, the Upakurvana brahmachari, is a brahmachari who takes the vow of celibacy up to a certain age. For example, he may take the vow to remain celibate up to 25 years of age. Then, with the permission of his spiritual master, he enters married life. Brahmacharya is a student life, the beginning of life in the spiritual orders, and the principle of brahmacharya is celibacy. Only a householder can indulge in sense gratification or sex life, not a brahmachari. Swayambhuva Manu requested Kadama Muni to accept his daughter. Since Kadama had not taken the vow of Naistiki brahmacharya, he was willing to marry, and the suitable daughter of a high royal family was presented. It's very interesting. So from my side, having the opportunity to stay in the ashram for 10 years gave me a really a good platform to understand who I am and how the actual system works, real system. We think this system works, but actually it's actually very good, because when we have this time for ourselves, you can look more within and not be caught up with all the other things. I found that study was easier because you've taken that step to, I mean, for myself it would have been, brahmachari. So it was difficult in the beginning, but but if you stick at it, it's really amazing. I have so many gifts that come to you. It's really incredible that you can actually share with others.
So there's definitely these these two different types. So I think Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur, he was a Naishtika brahmachari, and stayed. And also we were just reading yesterday about Narottam Das Thakur, and he was also a Naishtika brahmachari, so stayed brahmachari his whole life. But then others who goes, because brahmacharya is also, it's celibate student life. So like you were saying, Mataji, just, it's time for study and absorption. And I think even we were discussing the other day, traditionally most schools were separated, You had boys' schools and girls' schools, I don't know if it was like that when you were kind of coming up, Jaga Mataji?
No, I think it's more like when my parents, as that was, there were boys in schools, but for my side it was mixed. But there were boys and girls schools, but mainly it's like mixed. But
most public were mixed. Yeah. For me it was also all mixed. But
mine was single.
But I guess when you go back, a couple of generations again, in general it was, even in the West, not just in India or Eastern places, where you would just keep them separate. And Prabhupada would often talk, because it's just a distraction from the education. You're there to learn, not to be looking at Susie Cutie Pie and Johnny handsome one. But you're there to focus on learning your ABCs and arithmetics, but they actually encourage all this other kind of stuff, now, and especially in schools. But then otherwise, you do you do your time in the ashram, but in the school, whatever, in brahmacharya ashram. But then you kind of move on to the next phase. But like you were saying again, it's such a powerful grounding, such a kind of platform from which you can build upon.
Actually, it builds your confidence really nicely, because you're studying something that seems a little bit strange, but actually you feel deep inside that's actually who we are. It's just that with society now, it's not who we are. It's backwards, and so it's nice when you come back to the root of actually this is who I am, and then having that time, and having to make that decision as well, and to stick at it as well. It wasn't always easy, as you know. She's my mentor, Denise, my friend and mentor. So she had to sort of ground me a lot of the time. I just want to ground, but I just really appreciate those that Bhava Bhakti and those that are around me to keep me strong in that way. It's all about association for sure.
Very nice. 6:15.
Text 15. Oh, by the way, I don't have COVID. I've got hay fever. In case anyone's wondering, because you never know in this
That's what
day.
they all say, you know.
Yeah. The great sage replied, "Certainly I have a desire to marry, and your daughter has not yet married, or given her word to anyone. Therefore, our marriage, according to the Vedic system, can take place." Purport. There are many considerations by Kadma Muni before accepting the daughter of Swayambhuva Manu. Most important is that Devahuti had first of all fixed her mind on marrying him. She did not choose to have any other man as her husband. That is a great consideration because female psychology dictates that when a woman offers her heart to a man for the first time, it is very difficult for her to take it back. Also, she had not married before, she was a virgin girl. All these considerations convinced Kadma Muni to accept her. Therefore, he said, "Yes, I shall accept your daughter under religious regulations of marriage. There are different kinds of marriages, of which the first-class marriage is held by inviting a suitable bridegroom for the daughter and giving her in charity, well-dressed and well-decorated with ornaments along with a dowry according to the means of the father. There are other kinds of marriage, such as Gandharva marriage and marriage by love, which are also accepted as marriage. Even if one is forcibly kidnapped and later on accepted as a wife, that is also accepted." Oh dear.
Oh dear.
But Kadma Muni accepted the first-class way of marriage because the father was willing and the daughter was qualified. She had never offered her heart to anyone else. All these considerations made Kadma Muni agree to accept the daughter of Swayambhuva Manu.
So, although Prabhupada mentioned earlier that, well, I guess the verses were mentioning earlier that if someone offers you, and Prabhupada said in the purport, if someone offers you, then you should accept. But here we see Kadma is not like blindly accepting either. He's also stating, you know, okay, yeah, this matches, that matches, this is correct. Again, shastrically, these things are correct. Yeah, let's see what happens here. Issue with the power. Hopefully we'll make it to
No, we will.
So,
my battery's low, that's why you did.
yeah, and different kinds of marriages also. It's interesting, you know, marriage by love. I mean, it's like, that's just one of them, you know, but nowadays it's like, you know, I mean, I remember the first time I ever heard that was actually from someone from India when they said, "Oh no, ours is a love marriage." And I was like, what other kind of marriage is there, you know? You know, but then there's like arranged marriage would be the only predominant, because certainly we would normally have Gandharva marriages, you know, and kidnapping. I mean, that kind of stuff goes on, but usually you go to jail for it. I think, you know, it's not like, it's not exactly.
Even a Krishna book, right?
Yeah, Krishna did that.
Amongst Kshatriyas, it's an accepted thing, you know. But
yeah, maybe it won't go down well. You're like, you know, kidnap
well,
that
that's what
girl.
I'm saying. Well, that's what I'm saying. You go to jail for it. It's not the kind of thing.
Yeah, but here it says you just got to accept it.
That's what I mean. It's like, you know. So, Gandharva
Like
marriages.
cowboys, isn't it?
Well,
Wild West, isn't it?
Well, I mean, even in Bhagavatam, it mentions, I forget, it was Puru. Was it Puru? Yeah. When he reached into the well to help the girl out of the well because he touched her hand. And
Yeah.
that was it. We're officially married now.
Yeah.
So that's similar to a Gandharva wedding, which Gandharva wedding is just an exchange of garlands.
So it's wrong as well, right? She was kidnapped.
Yeah.
Although in marriage she was kidnapped, but then she was seen as not.
Well, because for women, there's high levels of chastity that are expected, and especially the wife of the king, then means, you know, if you spent, well, God, it must be clear somewhere how long she stayed there, but it must have been several months. You know, several months she was with Ravana, you know, and then it's like, you know.
Yeah, but it weren't their fault. Was it?
Well, what is that? There's an English saying, right? And you guys are English. So, was it, you know, stayed out all night? I remember when I first came to this country and I came back and I had been out like all night one time, you know, because I used to do that kind of thing. And the people I was staying with, the wife said, "Oh, out all night, you dirty old stop out."
Oh yeah.
I was like, dirty old stop out. I was like, what does that mean exactly? Dirty old stop out. I'm like 19. I'm not old. I'm not dirty because I had a bath. And like, stop out. What does that mean? But yeah, the principle is, you know, it's like you're considered dirty. You know, it's like it's not the right thing to do. You just stay out all night. Come home and you be safe and in your place. You know, it's interesting because the mode of goodness is actually it's an understood thing. You know. Acting piously is understood as the right way to act, but it's more fun to not be. You know, it's like, you know,
push the boundaries.
Push the boundaries, exactly. I also appreciated the line that Prabhupada says that it is a great consideration because female psychology dictates that when a woman offers her heart to a man, you know, and then it's very difficult for her to take it back. So, you know, often, because, you know, we're involved with this Krishna marriages thing, and the idea is that first you ask the boy, you know, if you have a match, you don't go to the girl first and say, are you interested in this person? You know, you first find out, because, you know, boys, you know, men are very fickle people, basically. And it's like, oh man, maybe, nah, okay, yeah, I'm into it. No, you know, very uncommittal, us men. But with ladies, if they're into it, they get attached immediately and then right into the heart, and then the guy says, I changed my mind. It's like, wow.
Oh, crying there.
Yeah, it's true, but we deal with that with ladies in ashram or temple. Yeah, they've already, like, sometimes I joke with the girls that in the mentee group, but they laugh because it's true. They like someone, then you've already picked out the wedding venue, what's on the menu, you picked your wedding dress, and before the guys even
said yes.
Before he even knows you exist on the planet.
Yeah, you know? and we laugh, but it's true. It's a you know, you're already projecting, you know, into the future. It's interesting, but it's so true. That Prabhupada says so true. Female psychology.
But it's like that. Well, I mean, what's that book? Women are from Venus. Men are from Mars. Women are from Venus. It's like, and there are like 8,400,000 species of life, but 400,000 of them are humans, and amongst those, 200,000 are probably the feminine aspect of whatever the different species are, and the other 200,000 are probably the male aspect, because they're just, you know, we're in different bodies. It's a different species, you know. So, you know, from India, it's a different species. From America is obviously a different species, and you know, and British, it's like different kind of species. You know, someone's from Africa, someone's from China. What's that?
Stiff upper lip.
Stiff upper lip and all that. You know? And you know, Americans are just like, just say it, just be here, you know, talk about it.
Americans are like, just say it.
Like, no, keep it in. Don't worry, don't say it. Zip it up, you know. Yeah, so it's just different, completely different ways of conducting oneself. But amongst men and women, there are different psychologies, the way you think, and you know, like what is it? You know, women speak to a man, and the man is just meant to go, okay, yeah, oh, got it, yeah, and just listen, right? You know, just listen. But men are like, no, you know, you should have done this, you should have done that, do it like this, do that. I didn't ask for your advice, I just asked you to listen. Well, what do you want me to listen for? I mean, if I'm just sitting here listening, I'm useless, you know, because the man just thinks, what's the point? I can sit and listen. Like,
that's why you need to get a cat or a dog, because they listen, didn't you? Just put them in the folder and just talk to them. And they cuddle you on your side. They don't.
We have one that doesn't.
I'm not happy, they were in the village. So we've reduced it all just down to, don't worry, ladies just get a cat, men just, I don't know, do whatever men do, you know.
You ladies out there, it's like we just want the other half to listen, but the other half wants to fix it, right?
Yeah, she will fix it.
Okay, so I think we've had a long, it doesn't take long.
Yeah.
to chit-chat away and discuss the topic. So it's nice to sit and read and discuss Srimad Bhagavatam. So thank you all for tuning in. And please read Srimad Bhagavatam. If you don't have a set or you would like one, you can contact us. We'll happily sort you out, mate. And so like that. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Srila Prabhupada ki jai.
Jai.
Granthara Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai.
Jai.
Mother Jaga Mohini ki
Jai.
jai. Raga.